What's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. In this video, we're going to take a look at some examples of rare lightning. Video footage that's been sent in from various locations across the country. We're going to take a look at some of this mysterious lightning and try to identify what kind of lightning we're looking at. Believe it or not, there are different types of lightning, and I've got one that is not necessarily explainable that we're going to come back and take a closer look at here in just a moment. Also in this video, we're going down to the West Virginia-Ohio border, where I received a video from Heather, who was driving her car, pulled over, and began recording something in the sky in broad daylight. We're going to take a look at that video here in just a moment. But first, here at the website, new photo at the homepage of the website, MrMBB333.com. Photo sent in by Tina out of northern Canada. That is an exceptional photo of northern lights. Got the bright green and then dark purple above the green. That's unedited, exactly the way I received it from Tina out of northern Canada. Taking a look at the GOES X-ray flux, it's been pretty quiet for about the last week. Over here at the Space Weather Prediction Center, you can see in the last 6 hours there's been a moderate solar flare, a C-class solar flare, which is by no means a large solar flare, but you can see an increase in activity in the last 6 hours, and look for that to potentially increase over the next few days. We saw a minor geomagnetic storm within the last 48 hours. Since then, it's been pretty quiet. Hopping over to the Yellowstone supervolcano caldera, looking at the seismographs that monitor the mighty supervolcano, looking at a little bit of earthquake activity scattered around the caldera on several of the seismographs, albeit small earthquakes, but nevertheless, that's earthquake activity at a supervolcano, so it's kind of a big deal, even though they're small earthquakes. Also, a quick update on the very large tropical storm that went from the Atlantic Basin over into the Pacific Basin. This storm now has been active in two separate large oceans, the two largest oceans on the earth, the Atlantic and Pacific, and that is Tropical Storm Bonnie. It was called Bonnie over in the Atlantic. It is also Bonnie over here in the Pacific because it remained a tropical storm as it crossed over Central America. This thing was a very large, aesthetically large storm. As you can see over here in the warm waters of the Eastern Pacific, this thing grew even larger, but it managed to stay under the Sahara sand, made its way into the southern Caribbean Sea, crossed Central America, and now it's over into the Eastern Pacific Ocean. Supposed to be a Category 2 hurricane by Tuesday. We'll have to wait and see, but that was a large storm, and it managed to still develop. It didn't have an eye wall, but aesthetically, this thing was a very large storm that managed to develop here just north of the equator, about 10 degrees north of the equator, which in itself is very rare. You don't necessarily see tropical storms or hurricanes that close to the equator. I want to take you guys now back to the rare lightning that's been sent in here recently. First video was sent in by Alicia out of Wisconsin, and here we go. I've got this in super slow motion. Sometimes this phenomena is visible with the naked eye, and sometimes it's not, because these lightning strikes are happening as quick as a millisecond, you know? So in video footage format, you have to slow it down, and you can see the vertical line right there. Multiple vertical lines showing up in this video of lightning that was above Wisconsin here recently. Here's another example from Athens, Alabama, sent in by Konia, of what is called sheet lightning. That's not a camera anomaly. That is actually happening in the sky. I have this video also slowed down into extreme slow motion so you can see the horizontal panels across the sky. That's actually in the sky. Again, that's not a camera malfunction. Here's another example by Tom out of Tennessee, and you can see what look like sheets in the front yard of his property here. The camera is up here underneath the overhang of the house. It's not necessarily being influenced directly by the lightning, so it couldn't be blamed on light saturation or anything like that, because the camera's up here in the shade underneath the overhang of the house, and you can see the straight line showing up in the yard of his house right there. See right there, that straight line? That's actually a shadow in the yard of his house. That's not a camera anomaly. That is known as sheet lightning. Here's some examples side by side. See that? That's sheet lightning on the bottom, sheet lightning on the top. According to the National Weather Service, what is a sheet of lightning? Intracloud, the most common type of lightning. It happens completely inside the cloud, jumping between different charge regions of the cloud. Intracloud lightning is sometimes called sheet lightning because it lights up the sky with a sheet of light. So what we just saw were examples of sheet lightning. A lot of times there's a debate on the origins of that. Some people suggest that maybe it's a camera anomaly or some sort of a aperture anomaly, and it's actually not. The camera is recording exactly what it sees in the sky. Sometimes it's in the daytime sky, sometimes it's in the nighttime sky. You're going to look at an example here sent in by Christine out of Denmark that doesn't necessarily align with either of the examples that I just showed you guys. This one here has some sort of what look like tubes going across the sky. Check this out. I'm going to pause it whenever it occurs right here. I had to put this in extreme slow motion right here. See, there's one and there's two. Look like fluorescent light bulbs in the daytime sky. That doesn't necessarily look exactly like, here's another one. That's not necessarily sheet lightning, I don't think. At least it doesn't look exactly like sheet lightning. Maybe it occurs like sheet lightning does, cloud to cloud or intra-cloud. It's not necessarily making contact with the ground. I'm going to show you guys an example of cloud to ground lightning, where this is obviously cloud to cloud. There's another example right up here of what looks like a tube in the daytime sky. I'm going to show you guys an example of cloud to ground lightning sent in by the Hannahs out of Cave Creek, Arizona. And you're going to see this lightning appear to strike in the same exact place 2 times in a row. Watch this, back to back. Here's the first strike that makes contact with the ground right over here behind this mountain. And notice the house here in the foreground. See the white part of the house? And then there's the lightning right there behind the house. Watch this. You're going to see another lightning strike right behind it in the same exact place, or at least it looks like it is. It's right behind the mountain, and there's the house in the foreground. So it looks like the lightning may have struck in the same place twice in Cave Creek, Arizona. But you don't see the sheets or panels here in this video because the lightning was cloud to ground. It made contact with the ground. Where these lightning strikes here are intra-cloud lightning, the lightning stays up in the sky, does not make contact with the ground, and that's how it appears in the sky. So that's not a camera anomaly, it's not a camera glitch. That's actually what the camera is recording in the sky. And here's another example of light being influenced by clouds. It's not necessarily on an extreme level like we have with lightning where it occurs in a millisecond. This is an example of Krepskula Race sent in by Miranda Marie out of Arizona. And you can see the straight lines in the sky because the light is being influenced by clouds very low on the horizon, way off in the distance. I want to take you guys now down to the West Virginia-Ohio border. Heather was driving down the road on June 30th of 2022 and noticed this mysterious ring in the sky. I don't know if this is early morning or quite possibly late evening, just before dark. Either way, the sky is still blue and you can see the sun is very low on the horizon. I do want to point out that she said she observed this thing for nearly 30 minutes. So whatever this is, it almost looks like to me some sort of a black smoke ring, kind of out in the middle of nowhere here. So the origins of this thing are a mystery. The black ring over here, it's enhanced on the left. That's why it looks white. Light is dark and dark is light. Over here's the original on the right. Again, she observed this thing for nearly 30 minutes. She said between 20 and 30 minutes, and it remained this shape, a dark ring in the sky. Broad daylight. You can see why she pulled over her car because this thing looked so mysterious. She sent in several videos of this dark ring in the sky. Here's one video. She sent in another video. In fact, she sent in probably 4, maybe 5. Observed this thing for the better part of 30 minutes, remaining in the same basic place but moving very slowly across the sky from left to right from this vantage point. It was slowly moving across the sky, maintaining that nearly perfectly round shape on the border of West Virginia and Ohio back on June 30th of 2022. Great job, guys. Keep the photos and videos coming. If you have any photos you'd like to share, you can send those to reports@MrMBB333.com. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.